Am I the idiot for refusing to shave my head to support my best friend? I, female 24, have known my best friend Grace, female 24, since we were 11 years old, and I love her to bits. We've been each other's rocks throughout all our hard times, so obviously I was devastated for her when she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer a few weeks ago. Thankfully her prognosis is optimistic, but she needs surgery and is about to begin chemo. I cried a lot when I first heard about her diagnosis, but Grace is one of those people who uses humor to cope in hard times, and she's been powering through it with her head held high. She's honestly my hero. We have a group of good mutual friends we've known since school, and yesterday they invited me to a video call without Grace. One of our friends told us about an idea she had that we should all shave our heads in support of Grace since she's going to lose her hair and make a video to put on Instagram and Facebook and the like. Everyone else looked a bit horrified when I firmly said I wouldn't be doing that. I never had long hair my entire childhood as it's very thick and my mum didn't want to deal with it, and after having short hair as a teenager I decided to grow it out. I haven't had a proper haircut since I was 17 and now it's almost long enough that I can sit on it, so I'm not keen to shave it off and start again. As someone who has lost close relatives to cancer, I also feel really uncomfortable with people who shave their heads in support, as to me it just seems like performative activism to get attention on social media. My friends all went off at me about how I'm selfish and have no empathy for Grace and what she's going through, but I don't think that you should have to put yourself through someone else's struggle in order to support them. I left the call and woke up this morning to a tidal wave of messages from other friends and family asking me why I was so nasty to my friends when they just wanted to help. I don't think it's made it through to Grace yet. The head shaving is meant to be a surprise, and if it has, she hasn't talked to me about it. At this point I'm questioning if I'm really being selfish and horrible because I adore Grace with all my heart, but I really don't want to lose my hair as well. Now for comments before the update. You're the idiot. You are being so selfish and insensitive. Your friend is going through a tough time and all she needs is support from her loved ones. If shaving your head can make her feel a little better, then why not do it? You're making her battle all about you and your hair. It's not performative activism, it's about showing solidarity and support, not the idiot. You're correct. Why do they need to blast this on social media except for the look at how supportive we're being? You know what's supportive of your friend? Being there for her. Helping with appointments. Sitting there while she's getting treatment. Listening to her needs, wants, fears. What does shaving your head do? I think you should continue to be the best friend you can be, and if anyone gives you poop, tell them to frick off and stop being attention seekers. Update. It's been way too long, but the dust has settled, so I'm finally able to give an update on the situation. Thank you for the awards and all the love and support for both me and Grace. I'm happy to say that she is doing very well and is still in great spirits nearly 2 months into chemo. I haven't been able to see her in person much, which is horrible, but we spend most of our days on FaceTime and I've been giving all the support I can. After my first post, I made what I think most would agree was the smartest decision and told Grace about our friend's plans. She actually laughed it off. She didn't think they were serious and that they'd really do it. Unfortunately, I got an invitation to a Zoom call with Grace and the rest of the group not long after I made the post and immediately got an awful feeling. I really didn't want to, but I went because I wanted to be there to defend either Grace or myself depending on what went down. As soon as I arrived, I was horrified to see that 3 of our friends had already shaved their heads and another was planning to do it in front of Grace during the call. Long story short, Grace was absolutely mortified. She absolutely decimated them about how they never should have done this without her permission, or even telling her that it was going to happen. And instead of feeling supported, she now has a constant reminder of the fact that she has cancer. We both accused them of being self-centered and narcissistic people who didn't really care about her or her illness and only wanted to do it to A. Post on social media and get attention, and B. Have people ask why they did it, and tell them what a good person and a good friend they are. I was trying to keep composed because it didn't feel like my fight to lead, but Grace did not hold back and used far more colorful language. As I said in my last post, she's my absolute hero. Needless to say, neither of us are in contact with those 4 people anymore, though we are civil with the others from the initial call about the head shaving who didn't actually go through with it. Both Grace and I are very happy that I decided to tell her beforehand, so it wasn't as much of a shock when it happened, and she's glad she doesn't have to endure what would likely have been a lot of mock support from our ex-friends throughout her cancer journey. And for some extra satisfaction for everyone who was as mad about the situation as I was, although Grace says it has thinned, as of right now she hasn't lost any hair, not the idiot. My aunt did this when my dad got cancer, and all it did was broadcast to everybody how little she actually cared. His chemo drugs wouldn't cause hair loss, and he was so excited about it that it was the first thing he'd tell anyone who visited or called him for 2 months leading up to the chemo starting, not the idiot. Good for Grace. They deserved it. I can just imagine the pure shame they hopefully feel now when someone asks about their hair. The only way they would be okay is if they were supporting a child they see multiple times a week, if not daily, who is self-conscious about being bald from chemo to make them feel like they are not alone. Now for the next story. Would I be an idiot for telling my friends that they need to start helping or get out? I, 26, female, and my husband, 28, male, just bought a house this past summer. We're pretty excited, but getting to enjoy it alone was pretty short-lived, as my best friend, at 25, we can call her Nell, lost her job due to COVID and needed somewhere to live. She's been there for me and has let me in when I needed somewhere to live when we were teenagers. My husband and I immediately gave up our biggest room for her, and she's been living here rent-free for a few months while she hunts. I've been helping her, but jobs are difficult to come by right now. My two other friends, Snow F 26 and Luke, 26, male, are out of their home right now as their house is unsafe to live in. They now occupy our other room, also not paying rent because they need their money to make their homes safe again. I am 5 months pregnant and I work from home. My friends eat our food, dirty our dishes, etc. and don't lift a finger. They've all done dishes once since being here, and they buy food and board it in their rooms and don't share but eat ours. They are so messy for grown adults. They leave bottles, wrappers, dirty pots and pans all over the place, as well as letting food go moldy on plates, etc. My husband is at his wit's end with it because I do all of the cleaning minus what he does, but he works long hours. I'm heartbroken that my friends are treating us this way, but I'm scared to bring it up because they have nowhere else to go and it's winter time. My husband is ready to ask for rent, plus backdated rent and a chore list, and compares them to having children, saying it's good practice when our daughter comes soon. Would I be the idiot for telling them they have to contribute or leave? TL. Dr. 3 of my friends currently live for free with my husband and I, while I'm 5 months pregnant, destroy our house daily, eat our food and never clean, leaving it all to me and my husband when he isn't working 12-hour shifts. Would I be the idiot for telling them to contribute or leave? Edit. I just want to add, it wouldn't be a pay up now or leave today. I'm hoping to have a nice conversation with them and listen to everyone and how they feel. Then see what they decide and give them a few weeks to find a stable place to stay if they don't want to change. Edit 2. Just a small update. I wanted to let everyone know that though the conversation hasn't been had, I broke down crying to Nell last night and just laid it all out, and she looked absolutely mortified. She started to cry and apologized profusely, saying she's never even noticed how messy they all are because I keep on top of it so well. She told me she's landed a secure position and intends on paying rent immediately once her payments start coming in. As for Snow and John, the first, haven't spoken to them yet, but I'm planning to hopefully tonight. Now for comments before the update. Not the idiot. But I wouldn't give them an ultimatum. I would give them a time frame in which they need to move out. My husband and I made it a rule when we moved in together that no one would move in. We have had close friends lose their homes, but we stuck to our guns. It's always a recipe for disaster. Not the idiot. You aren't their parents, they aren't teenagers, and this is your home. Round them up, sit them down, and tell them in plain and simple language that these are the issues and these are the conditions under which they can continue to stay. Make sure they know how disappointed and hurt you are by their behavior. Firmly let them know that if they are not willing to immediately, and on an ongoing basis, comply with your conditions, they have 48 hours to vacate your home. The end. Update. Well, it's been an eventful few weeks to say the least. I sat down with my friends after I'd nearly slipped and fell on junk they had lying around. I expressed how much it hurt me the state they put my home in and never cleaned it up. Snow and John lost their minds at me, saying I would be cruel and selfish sending them out, and that I know they can't afford to pay me while they're working on their house. I told them I never even wanted payment. I just wanted help, but they continued to belittle me, so I told them they have until the end of February to find other living arrangements. As for Nell, she and I had a talk when I broke down a few days before this fight, and she apologized profusely, told me she landed a great gig, and she started cleaning my house every day and has even cooked me meals as well. It's not the outcome I wanted, as I didn't want to lose any friends, but thanks to all the helpful comments I decided to put my foot down. I want to thank everyone again for all the time you took to comment and help me. And yes, my baby is doing just fine. I can't wait to meet my little angel. My husband and I say thank you to all. Not the idiot. You really shouldn't have given the guys so long. I feel they will abuse it and trash the place worse just to get back at you for not taking their poop. Maybe make sure your husband and maybe one of his friends are home around the days they are to move out. You haven't lost friends. They obviously never were. Not the idiot. It sounds like you did what you needed to do in order to take care of yourself and your home. Your roommates were not taking your concerns seriously, so you had to put your foot down. They may not be happy with the outcome, but they will eventually come around. Congratulations on your new baby. Now for the next story. Am I the idiot for refusing to see my dad even though he is really sick? I am 2 years older than my brother. When I was about to go to college, they said they didn't have the money, and it massively fricked up my plans because they have a high income, so I can't get aid and scholarships. I moved out. I started working because I want to save up before going to college. I started college the same year as my brother did. I always assumed my brother was loading up on debt by going to a really expensive private school. I saw a story he posted bragging about having his schooling paid by our parents. I texted him, and he said he was just bragging online, but I asked Mom, and she is not a good liar, and she fessed up that they were paying for it. It still makes me really freaking angry. I have better grades, I have a better application, but all of that doesn't matter. Nothing I ever do freaking matters. I have not visited home since that day. I worked so freaking hard for my grades. I just don't understand why they don't care. I did all the right things and they still care more about my brother. My dad is sick. He has cancer. It is pretty bad. My mom is begging me to come back and see him. He is upset too. My brother called me and yelled at me for being a horrible daughter who is a greedy bee. I am worried sick for him, but I can't put myself through visiting him. I am just barely holding on emotionally, but I know they need my support, but I am being a huge idiot by not doing it. Now for comments before the update. You're the idiot. You didn't get to go to a nice college, did you get everything else? Is one thing really worth your father dying without seeing you? Please go and be a good person, let this poop go. It's only money. What you're doing is very, very cruel, and I don't think it compares to not getting your college paid for. I'm gonna get downvoted to frick by all the entitled fucks who think you should stay bitter and twisted till you die over someone else's money, not the idiot. They could, even now, split whatever money they are putting towards your brother's college equally between the two of you. They choose not to do that, they are completely unrepentant. This isn't a past beef you are holding on to, this is something they are continuing to do. I wouldn't want anything to do with them either. Update. I really needed all those comments. It helped me think through my feelings. I knew I wanted to go see him. He is my dad and I love him. I would never forgive myself if I didn't. I visited 2 days ago. I didn't bring up the tuition because I didn't want to start a fight. I talked to Dad. I really missed the conversation we used to have. He was very happy to see me and he told me he would set things right with his will. That made me cry. I don't want him to die. We had lunch together and Mom was insisting that I stay with them to help with Dad. I saw people comment about it, and I really didn't think my parents would bring that up, but they did, and it hurt a lot. I refused and Mom got a bit angry with me. I ended up leaving soon after. I have really tried to please them. I followed every single rule they had. I didn't put a toe out of line, and they always loved my brother more even though he was a rule breaker, and I hoped that by being the perfect daughter I would, be loved a bit more. I guess that isn't how it works.